They say heroes are born in stories, but sometimes heroes are forged in pain. And no one proves that better than Robert Downey Jr. This is not just a story of fame. This is a story of falling, breaking, and rising again. It's a story of how one man turned his darkest moments into his greatest power. The man who went from a prison cell to becoming Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. was born in 1965 in New York City, a city that never sleeps, and neither did his dreams. His father, Robert Downey Sr., was a filmmaker, known for his creativity and chaos. His mother, Elsie, was an actress, kind, artistic, and full of love. It looked like Robert was born for greatness, but destiny doesn't hand success on a silver plate. It tests you first. At just 5 years old, Robert appeared in his first movie, directed by his father. Everyone around said, "This kid has something special." He could make people laugh, cry, and believe, even at that young age. But while the cameras captured his talent, no one saw the storm building behind it. His father, in his own struggles with addiction, unknowingly introduced little Robert to drugs. He said it was just fun. But that moment changed Robert's life forever. He was only 8 when he got addicted. He later said, "When your dad gives you drugs and calls it bonding, you think it's love. But it's not love. It's poison." By the time Robert was a teenager, acting had become his escape. He dropped out of high school to chase movies full-time. He worked hard, moved to Los Angeles, shared apartments, waited tables, and finally started getting roles in the 1980s. Movies like Less Than Zero, Weird Science, and Chaplin made him a rising star. He was funny, charming, and unpredictable. Hollywood loved him. When he played Charlie Chaplin in Chaplin, 1992, he didn't just act, he became the character. He got nominated for an Oscar. Everyone said, "This is the next great actor of our generation." But what they didn't see was that the same chaos that fueled his brilliance was also destroying him. Behind the fame, Robert was sinking deeper into addiction. He would show up late on sets, miss shoots, disappear for days. He once said, "I had everything, and I threw it all away because I didn't know how to stop." By the late 1990s, things got worse. He was arrested multiple times for possession of cocaine, heroin, and guns. He was sentenced to prison. The world laughed. The media called him finished. Hollywood turned its back. No studio wanted to take the risk anymore. He went from red carpets to cold prison walls. Imagine a man who once lived in luxury, now sleeping in a small prison cell, thinking about every mistake he made. But sometimes life locks you up, so you can find your key. Inside those walls, Robert began to change. He started reading. He started thinking. He started healing. He realized no one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. He spent nearly a year behind bars. And when he came out, he didn't just walk out of prison. He walked out of his past. But the world still didn't believe him. Directors refused to hire him. Producers said, "He's unreliable." Even insurance companies said, "We can't cover him." He was a man with no second chances left. But fate had one more twist. In 2003, he met Susan Levin, a film producer. She wasn't impressed by his fame or looks. She saw his heart. She told him clearly, "If you want to be with me, You need to change your life. Robert listened. He went to rehab, stayed clean, and began rebuilding his career, one small role at a time. He worked in movies like The Singing Detective and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Slowly, people started noticing again. That spark, that magic, that energy. He was back. Then came Jon Favreau, the director of Iron Man. Favreau wanted someone real, someone who knew what it meant to fall and rise again. Robert auditioned. Marvel executives didn't want him. They said, he's a risk. But Favreau fought for him. He said, Tony Stark is Robert Downey Jr. You can't separate them. And he was right. When Iron Man released in 2008, it wasn't just a movie, it was a miracle. That scene where Tony Stark builds his first suit in a cave, that was Robert building his life again. Piece by piece, hope by hope. The movie exploded. Critics called it the rebirth of a star. Fans called him a legend. And Marvel! It became the most powerful movie franchise in the world. Robert Downey Jr. didn't just act. He lived the role. Every line, every emotion, every comeback. It was his real story. From Iron Man to the Avengers, he led a universe, inspired a generation, and reminded the world, no matter how dark it gets, the light inside you can still shine. But behind all that fame, he never forgot where he came from. He donated millions to charities. He spoke openly about addiction and mental health. He became a symbol, not of perfection, but of redemption. In one interview, he said, I used to be trapped in my own head. Now I'm free, not because I forgot the past, but because I accepted it. By the time Avengers Endgame came out in 2019, the entire world cried when Tony Stark said, I am Iron Man, because we knew. That wasn't just Tony's line, it was Robert's truth. A man who had been lost, broken, forgotten, now stood as the symbol of strength, courage, and rebirth. From drugs to discipline, from handcuffs to Hollywood, from darkness to destiny. Robert Downey Jr. proved one thing. It's not how you fall, it's how you rise. And when life knocks you down, you can either stay there and blame the world, or you can rise, fight, and rebuild. Just like Iron Man. He once said, listen, smile, agree, and then do whatever you were going to do anyway. Because success doesn't come from what people think of you. It comes from what you believe about yourself. So next time you feel lost, remember Robert's story. You don't need perfect beginnings to have a powerful ending. You just need courage to start again. He taught us that no mistake is final. Every failure carries a lesson. Every fall carries a choice. And every choice carries the power to change your life. So maybe, just maybe, your Iron Man moment is still waiting for you. You just need to build it. One decision, one step, one day at a time. Because like Robert Downey Jr., you were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to rise, to inspire, to shine. And that is how a man went from prison to becoming Iron Man.